Next one, Circle of Trust, the fastest way to double your clients. A quote from Robert Cialdini, best-selling author of Influence and the Psychology of Persuasion. You've heard the first part of this for sure. People will do business with people they know, like, and trust. You may not have heard the rest of the quote, though, right? The rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say, based on your knowledge, your creativity, and your credibility. People will do business with people they know, like, and trust based on your knowledge, your creativity, and your credibility. That last part is essential. If you don't have that, you don't have influence. You don't have influence. So Circle of Trust, 5 examples of how this can grow your customers exponentially. We're going to give you some examples. Dropbox, Clubhouse, BOGO offers, we just talked about, event sponsorships, and bring a friend. Dropbox is the classic example. Their referral program is probably one of the most famous cases of referral marketing ever. A decade later, it's still used as case studies, showing how referral programs can contribute to a company's growth engine or be the engine itself. You referred someone, you got more space. Let's have a quick look at the metrics. September 2008, they had 100,000 registered users. December 2009, 4 million registered users. September 2017, 33.9 registered users, $10 billion market valuation, and $1 billion in revenue from this strategy. So what happened between 2008 and 2010? Dropbox managed to double its user base every 3 months. Doubled its user base every 3 months, resulting in users sending 2.8 million invites in the month of April alone. And it was just what you see here, a screenshot. For every friend who joins and installs Dropbox, you will get 500 megs of bonus space. That's it. Super simple, crazy powerful. We can all do something like this. Clubhouse, Simon.
So how many of you played with Clubhouse last year? Put your hand up or thumbs up on the chat. Yeah. So Clubhouse was going around for a long time. And as Tom said, it appeared out of nowhere. They were very clever. They used this idea of circle of trust and another thing called being sort of this velvet rope, hence the graphic Tom has there. You couldn't just join. Somebody had to invite you. So you could like really want to join, but you had to have this listing member bring you in. So it wasn't just like they wanted referrals, they enforced you having to refer. Now, secondarily, they only gave you how many tickets? 3 golden tickets. So you'd have all your friends going, let me in, let me in. I had to pick who my friends were. And if my friends joined, I might get some more invites. So what happened when Tom say signed up on Clubhouse, it says introduced by Simon. Now, this wasn't network marketing. There was no sort of monetary benefit. But there was this kudos factor and this interest factor of, hey, who does Tom know? How come Tom's here? And who's letting people in? So people like me and others helped Clubhouse grow because when we first did it, nobody knew about it. It was this kind of cool, interesting thing. And as a result, had great conversations. I really like talking to people. If you can get that today. But what was amazing about it, they went from nobody being like a year of milling around, less than a couple of million users, to $1 billion valuation in less than 6 months without ever selling anything. Just have that one sink in, because they did this and it went, they literally raised money at $1 billion valuation and beyond without, there was nothing they sold because they had this trust and these people interacting, and we can get into that another time. But this ability to grow massively quickly, as Tom says, 2 million users, despite being less than a year old, using this idea of referrals and circle of trust. And the key thing there was like, you only got a certain number of people you could refer. Back to you, Tom. I think it's a good time to.
Yeah. So now today, you hardly hear about Clubhouse, but they forgot that over deliver thing we talked about, right?
Well, this is, I want to add that in. I'm jumping over Tom like a bad monkey. The reason Dropbox worked, because it worked, right? Like I used Dropbox for like years. Like my dad's used. Anybody here like not heard of Dropbox? It's a great service. That's sort of the crux of this, is you have something that can add value and get results, as Tom says, and then it starts going out there. Now, the challenge for Clubhouse, most people, it was a time suck. They didn't make money. One of my friends made over $5 million in a couple of months on Clubhouse because he gets this stuff. He gets wow experience. That's my friend John Tom with I think 200,000 followers. He's a genius at doing, it's just like $17 sale. but he had a lot of them. And then he wows the customer. Back to you, Tom.
Next one, buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one free. I talked about this earlier. It is so much better than 50% off. It's the same deal. It's just better. But here's the thing. You can do it. Every business can do it. It's not just burgers and coffee shops. It can be done with seminars, workshops, coaching, consulting, charity fundraisers, all sorts of things, depending on when you signed up and when you bought your ticket and whether you were in at $27 or VIP, you were invited to bring 1 or 3 people as well. And we did 48 hours after you signed up, send you an invite to bring a friend, right? And so same thing applies. It doesn't matter where you are in the cycle, you can do this. Now, some of you, your service, it doesn't make sense to do buy one, get one free in and of itself. So maybe what you do is do, here's a good example. You're working with successful women entrepreneurs. Who was that earlier? Elena, right? Successful, I say entrepreneurs, you might be talking beyond that, but let's say it was successful women entrepreneurs. You could also, for every one that you get as a paying client, you can scholarship a single mom who needs the help. So rather than try and sell a single mom a $10,000 program, which would be cruel, right? Because they got to take care of their kid. It'd just be cruel. Even if your service is amazing, that, economically, a lot of people are going to feel terrible about that. Sell the person who can justify it and scholarship the other person and link them together. Heck, let them nominate someone. Let them pick someone. We're going to run a referral contest for September's event where we're going to let people pick the Kiva loans that we're going to do out of September's event. Why? Because I think that'd be a fun way to engage people, right? Let them pick the loans. And what country? Who do you want to support, Jan? Let's go. Let's jump on Kiva. Let's go figure it out, right? How cool will that be? I think that'd be totally fun, right? Event sponsorships. That was me on the stage at Suzanne Evans' Be the Change event. This particular one was in Las Vegas, about 650 people in the room. This was the sound check. That's why I had the camera perfectly done there. All right. Event sponsorship is another way to do this. The master of this is Suzanne Evans, without a doubt. She called her event for years Be the Change. She's now rebranded and calls it a couple other things, gone virtual, but the same principle applies, and live in-person events are coming back. If you're doing this, you can do this right now. Her sponsors, I paid $50,000 for 10 minutes on her main stage. 50 grand, 10 minutes. Whatever I sold, I kept. There was no revenue share, but I had to pay 50 grand up front. The lower level sponsorship deals, if you brought guests, you paid up to 75% less for your sponsorship. So your big event, you want to do Clinton down in Costa Rica for the guys, for the men coaches that you want to work with, right? You want to get some sponsors. You could say the sponsorship is $10,000, but if you get 3 people to come, it's $2,500, right? Or heck, if you get 3 people to come, I'll pay for your flights and accommodation because 3 people are paying 10 grand to Clinton, right? Like there's lots of ways to look at this. I call it a triple win through that process. That was Suzanne thanking me afterwards. She's hilarious. If you don't know Suzanne, she rubs some people the wrong way. I adore her. She's just absolute hoot. I just like her energy. Bring a friend. Classic strategy for asking. This is HelloFresh. Sharing it. Look at this headline. Sharing is caring. Treat your friend to a free box. Right? And HelloFresh puts it in every freaking box. It doesn't matter. They forget 48 hours every single time, every single box. Sharing is caring, baby. Super simple. Done right, you get exponential growth. How many people do they need to refer? You're getting a box. If you're a HelloFresh customer, you get a box every week, typically. Right? So let's call it 50 boxes a year. Little math test here, Clinton. How many people do they have to refer to double their number of customers over the 50 weeks? He's scratching his head. He's doing the math. He's getting his calculator out on his cell phone. Come on, Clinton. How many people do they have to refer to double?
Well, 1. Presumably.
Yes. It's not a trick question.
Well, it sounded tricky. I thought you were
you were trying to think through it. It's 1 in 50 weeks. 1 referral doubles their customer base. And I can tell you, having used a similar service, not this one, but a similar service in my neck of the woods, I referred 5 people my first month. I couldn't stop referring people. I loved it. I referred 5 my first month. Why? Because I loved it, right? They earned the right. They asked and asked and asked and asked and asked and asked. Simple, right? Focus on sharing is caring. I love that. The key is ask and make it easy. Bring a friend strategy.